Collabro, of course, won Britain's Got Talent last year, and since then, my gosh, Richard and the boys have been on something of a whirlwind. Richard, it's so lovely to have you home.
It's amazing to be home. I'm so glad to be. I just got in yesterday, so yeah, no, Mum's glad to see me. So.
Oh, I bet. I mean, let's talk about your mum, because actually, obviously, you know, as a parent, you want to see your children achieve their dreams. Of course you do. But she and no one could have had any idea what was going to happen when you entered Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, I mean, my mum and dad have been so supportive. They actually got me started when I was doing the whole busking thing in Brighton. So, you know, since then, they've just carried me through. And with Collabro, I mean, they were there at the final, and it was just so emotional. I mean, my mum... I think my dad actually watches the first audition every single night before he probably goes to bed.
Oh,
so he
God,
just loves it.
Your biggest fan. But have they seen you since you won Britain's Got Talent? Because, my gosh, you've been here, there and everywhere. You've travelled halfway around the world.
Yeah, no, we've been to Japan, we've been to America, you know, we're all over. But, you know, when I get the moment, it's not too far from London, which is great. So I'll pop back home, pop in for a nice cuppa, go down the gym with my little brother, you know, just get in the normal stuff, because you've got to keep it going. I'd hate to be away from home too long. Yeah,
and I guess you've got to keep grounded as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the most important things, especially when you get thrown in, like, especially into the deep end, like you do on these kind of shows with Britain's Got Talent, X Factor. But my parents, you know, it's just great when I come home and then they're like, "Oh, clear up plates, you know, do this." That. And Mum's like, you know,
they're not going to put up with any Mariah Carey style diva demands. I'd like white rose petals actually in my bedroom.
Yeah, 100 puppies,
Richard,
please.
Pick your pants up off the floor. I love it, but that's what's so lovely. I think. Obviously, we love as a local radio station to celebrate local talent, but when you see somebody, you know, go on to the success that you have gone on to, it's amazing. You say you grew up in Mile Oak. You started off busking down in New Road in Brighton. In fact, that's where we first came across you at the radio station. I mean, to think you've gone from that to this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, from the small street performance level to now on the world stage. I mean, when I actually performed at the Brighton Centre earlier this year on tour, it was just so emotional for me. I mean, I came out on stage and I was just I just burst into tears, because, you know, only a year ago before that, or maybe even less, I was up the road on Duke Street busking, and then I always dreamed of performing in the Brighton Centre. And
there you were. To be fair, though, you were pretty good at busking. I mean, the reason why we had you on the programme was, didn't you earn something like £2,000?
Yeah, it was to raise money for school fees. My mum and dad said they couldn't afford to send me anymore. It said it was just too much. So I decided to go out myself and do it myself. I didn't want to leave my friends. I didn't want to, you know, I've been there for a good 4 or 5 years.
Of course.
I wanted to stay at Hurstwood Point, so I cracked on with it and I managed to raise the money.
I guess you're on slightly more than £2,000 a performance now. I don't know, but I'm guessing. Back in 2010, you did kindly come into the studios here at BBC Sussex and BBC
5 years ago. Really?
Yeah, you were on the Breakfast Show with Neil Pringle. Would you like to have a listen to how you got on that day? I've got it, baby. I've got it. Here you are. I mean, how old were you then? 16?
Yeah.
Let's have a listen.
She gets too hungry. Or dinner at 8.
I think you're blushing, Richard.
She loves the theatre.
Brilliant.
But never comes late.
You could tell then, though, you were destined for big things. Absolutely. When you entered Britain's Got Talent, you and the boys, you and Collabro, hadn't actually been together that long. You'd only been together, what was it, a month
Literally,
or something?
Well, we say a month. I mean, we knew each other for a month.
Right.
But actually, rehearsal-wise, we'd only been together for a week. We met in a pub in London Bridge. Decided to sing a few songs together. Just wanted to do like cruise ships and, you know, sort of corporate entertainment. And
when you say you met in a pub, I mean that sounds like you just all happened to be having
it was just like coincidence.
Oh, you're a singer, so
hey, you fancy a song?
What are the chances? How did that come about in the first place?
So basically, Jamie and Matt sort of had this idea, and they wanted to basically get this group together. So they looked online, they found mutual friends. You know, all of us were trying to do auditions up in London. And all wanted to be on the West End stage. They actually found me on YouTube singing Bring 'Em Home, which was a video I just uploaded. Not many views, you know, I didn't have loads of subscribers or anything like that, but they just came across it and they invited me up, and we all sung Bring 'Em Home together. and we went, you know what, we've actually got something here. This could work.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we just thought, where can we take this to? You know, we need a world stage, we need a bigger stage. Went, well, Britain's Got Talent's coming up, so we decided to go for it, and a few months later we won it.
As they say, is history. Brilliant. But that must be quite tricky, though, in a way, because obviously, you know, 5 young men, you don't know each other that well, and then all of a sudden you are thrown together. You know, you're having to spend a lot of time with each other, you know, living in each other's pockets pretty much, travelling here, there and everywhere. Does it ever get a little trying?
Well, I mean, yeah, we're in the tour, especially when we go on tour. You know, we're in the tour van like continuously. But
people must
you know,
start to get on your way.
You know, well, you know, it's quite funny because actually, you know, yeah, we have like discussions, but it's like more like creative discussions that get the most infuriating because all of us are like extremely creative.
Creative discussions. I sometimes have those with my husband. I prefer to describe them as rows, but creative discussions, that's what I'm going to go with.
No, it's like what songs are we going to sing at the gig, and it's little things like that.
Sure.
Especially when you spend so much time with each other, suddenly it becomes such an issue, and it's like what? But you know, what
about irritating habits, though?
No, I mean, well, yeah, I think, like, because we've got 5 completely different personalities, I think it's incredible how we all come together and
you haven't killed each other
No,
yet.
exactly.
Well
Amazing. No, but in all seriousness, I think one of the biggest things, since day one that we met, we all just seemed to get on, and that was the crazy thing. It wasn't like it took time.
No.
We all just
the chemistry
cracked
was
on,
there.
and the chemistry was there.
Well, that's what you want, isn't it? That's what you want. It's interesting. With other kind of boy bands, boy groups, you know, I'm thinking of One Direction, people like that, you know, there's kind of scandal surrounding them and all of that. With Collabro, you do tend to have this kind of quite squeaky clean image.
We are anything but.
Well, that's what I was hoping you were going to say, Richard. But I think because of the musical theatre genre, because of the music you perform, people tend to think you're very clean cut.
No, I think that's it is a preconception with that kind of music. But you know, we're just 5 normal lads.
So you are throwing TV sets out of hotel windows.
All the time. No,
it's just not making the press.
It's like, for example, I got stuck in Japan because we had a mad night out the night before, and I completely lost my passport. So I ended up staying in Japan and ended up getting a tattoo because I was like, I need to remember this. So
where is your tattoo?
It's on my back. It says stars in kanji, but
maybe I'll have a look at that later.
but the boys all said, you know, you don't know what it says. So
yeah, have you actually checked? It does say stars.
I have checked. It says stars, but there was a moment where I was like, it could say like toilet brush or something.
Yeah, yeah, you took a risk there. Yeah. So you've got a bit of a habit then for losing things because you lost something else quite recently.
Yeah, I came down to Brighton yesterday, and on the tube on the way, I lost my wallet. Mad. I'm so annoyed. I've lost my Nando's card. That's
brilliant. Forget the credit cards. What am I going to do without my piri-piri chicken?
Exactly.
Come on. But that means you got no cash cards or anything over Christmas?
You know what? That's what family's for, right?
Great, yeah. Your mum and dad are like, yeah, brilliant. He's come home for Christmas. We've got a bag of dirty washing and now he wants cash. Our global, multi-selling superstar of a son has come back without any money. Brilliant. What is the thing you miss most when you are away from home? We've been talking about, you know, this time of year, people coming home for Christmas, that kind of one thing you really look forward to.
I just miss the warmth of my home with my family. I think that's something that. I mean, I've tried to make my flat up in London as warm as it can possibly be, but it's just nothing compared to just coming home and just knowing that next door is your mum, downstairs your little brother's playing PlayStation, dad's outside on the taxi waiting for the next job. Do you know what I mean? It's just that sort of area. And then Brighton, every time I come back, I'm just like, wow, this is fantastic. It was only last year I came back for Christmas and I walked down the platform at Brighton Station and there was a choir singing "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," and I just started crying because I was home, you know, and at that point in time I hadn't yet been home. It was so full on last year, so. You know, I just love Brighton, and I miss actually busking, and you know, I miss the streets, the lanes, all of it.
It's a great place to live. Well, listen, we're very glad you are home. You're going to stay with us, but we're going to hear a Collabro track now. This was from the kind of the festive edition of your first album.
Special edition.
Maybe you'd like to introduce it.
Yeah, this is "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" from our festive edition of Stars.
Collabro. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Such a lovely blend of voices. And you're going to be touring next year. The Brighton Centre on the 12th of March, the Royal Albert Hall on the 26th of March, and then G Live at Guildford on the 3rd of April. Obviously, Richard Hadfield from Collabro joins us in the studio. Obviously, this is what you wanted. This was your dream. Then it's happened. Any drawbacks at all? Any negative aspect to fame?
No, actually, because it's quite nice because of the kind of music we do. It's sort of like we're in the middle somewhere. You know, we go to gigs and everyone's going wild and crazy, and there's loads of people, you know, at the backstage door. But then, like,
girls throwing themselves at you. Is that what you mean?
Mothers throwing themselves at us. But you know, we can go down the shop and we can go for a drink. We can go out for a meal, and not necessarily no one come up to us and really bother us unless we're like necessarily as a five, and then sometimes it gets a little bit tricky because we can get stopped, and then other people recognise and go, why are they getting stopped? But it was actually the other day I was on the tube. And because it just doesn't happen that often, someone was shouting "Richard" across the tube station. I was like, right, hello, and someone started waving at me. I was like, who is
Do
this
I know you?
Do I know this person? And then all of a sudden it clicked, and I was like, oh, a fan. And they're like, oh, my mother-in-law recognised you. I was like, oh, cool. And then it just got a little bit awkward, and I was like, I need to go. I was in a rush. I had a personal training session to get to, and I was like, I need to go. And they're like, oh, can we get a picture? I was like, literally any other day I felt so bad because normally I'm cool with it. I'm happy to do it, but like I felt so bad because I was like, any other day would be great, but I need to go.
Really, I really am in a rush. And that's the thing, everyone's got a phone these days. Everyone wants a selfie. In fact, I'm going to ask for one actually in a few minutes' time. Just warning you.
No worries.
Okay. You must get homesick. I mean, obviously, it comes across you are a real family boy. You know, you love being at home. It must be hard when you're miles away.
Yeah, it does get. I do get homesick, especially, you know, when we go to other countries. You know, when we're on tour in Japan and we're going to America in January. You know, there's not that much time. But every time I do come home, it's great. I especially love going down the rugby club, but down at Hove Rec, and the boys just never let it go that I'm in a musical theatre boy band.
Give you a bit of stick, do they?
Pretty much every time.
Oh. And does your mum still phone you every day? Do you have to like ring her to say you got to Japan safely?
Yeah,
I'm here, Mum. I'm
pretty
here.
much. No, it's really nice because I still hold on to those kind of things and fill my mum in when I can. But it just gets so busy. But it's quite nice coming back home and just be able to tell her all the fantastic things that we've been doing, and she just loves hearing about it.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. I'm sure she's very proud of you. Listen, I know someone who is extremely pleased that